Create or just observe. Observe the beautiful, mysterious nature around you. Take in that serenity it gives you and breathe and become one with the nature. You'll soon sense the contagiousness of this creation, and your hand will start moving to create its own beauty. So go outside and take in all you can and start creating. These are collections of my own moments in nature. Since I felt a bit uninspired, I took a little bit of stroll in the nature, and it's amazing how it revives the creativity beast that lies dormant within us. So I decided to draw, but it's been 3 weeks since I last drawn anything, and I felt so stiff and rigid. My drawing would come out very ugly, and what I decided at that moment was to draw ugly intentionally and see if anything good will come out of that ugly drawing. And I started drawing lines and circles just to get my hand moving, and even handwriting. That was also helpful. And then I began to pick up the rhythm of just sketching for fun. And it's so counterintuitive, but the fact that I set my goal to draw something ugly was making the whole process much more easier for me. So I felt that relief of just being able to draw without any expectation. And since my goal wasn't to draw anything beautiful, my drawing was becoming much more natural and flowy and smoother. It's as if the paper itself is helping me to draw this, because I'm just keeping myself loose and I'm just trying to sketch, I'm just trying to doodle. It's nothing serious. But then just because I'm not having that pressure on my mind to draw something much more beautiful than I possibly can, then it kind of like provides the freedom to come up with beautiful ideas and so many fascinating way of drawing. And my attention to my lines and how I draw increases because now I have much more space in my mind. And it's funny because I always come back to the truth that if you do it for fun, you're going to achieve a better result, and it's all about enjoying the process. If you enjoy the process, the result is going to take care of itself. You're going to be much more focused when you're focusing on the process rather than the goal. So if your mind is process oriented, you're much more likely to live your life like day by day, not caring about tomorrow, not caring about that big picture too much, because once you break down the big goal to some smaller goals and put them in your daily life, then you don't need to really focus on the big goal. You just need to focus on that small goal day in and day out. So if you have this goal of becoming better at digital drawing or drawing in general, then I would say start simple and start very small. Every single day have this highlight of what you're gonna try to improve. Is it gonna be just portrait drawing? Is it gonna be landscape drawing? What sort of drawing is gonna be your focus? And then once you know what sort of style you're gonna go with, what sort of thing you're gonna draw, because like there are artists that only draw portraits, there are artists that only draw landscape, there are artists that only draw animals, and there are so many artists that actually draw everything, but it's all about what you really love to draw. And once you figure that out, you have to practice those things that you want to draw, and then when you become better at sketching it out, drawing it, coloring it, and then after a lot of practice, you're going to be able to know what sort of style you want to have, because now you have like much more experiences and you know that you're good at drawing and you've consumed a lot of artworks and you observed a lot of visuals, and now you have all of those information inside of your mental library. All you need to do is to choose and decide what you want to draw, and it's going to be apparent to you. Your style is going to become apparent as you go along, so don't force it. It's just going to come to you. It's not something that you decide, it's something that you become really interested in, and it's like very intuitive, because I don't know what it is exactly, it's not information. You can't just say this is gonna be my style and I'm gonna have an equation for that style and it's gonna come to me by practicing it. No, it doesn't do that. At least not for me. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. I was just drawing every single day. I was like drawing, so focused on drawing. And then I slowly began to see what my style looks like. And it wasn't something that I consciously was going for. I wasn't even focusing on finding myself. It just came to me. It just came to me by practicing a lot and by seeing a lot of artworks and by actually defining what really interests me and what I love, genuinely love, than what I can borrow from other artists. Because I would see the artwork of other artists and I would be so amazed by it, and when it amazes me, I know exactly that I'm gonna borrow at least one or two aspects of that art style for myself. And it's not like you're copying them, it's more like you are inspired by them so that your style is gonna be a little bit like those styles. It's all about really being natural with it and not forcing it too much. If you force your drawing, your creativity just goes away. Creativity doesn't come to you by just hard work. It's the opposite of hard work. Whenever you feel very unproductive, that's when you feel creative. I mean, at least for me, I don't feel creative when I want to be productive. When I want to be productive, I'm much more logical and I can't even think creatively. My mind doesn't really allow me to be creative at all. I feel like I have to get things done. That's what I feel. And if I want to draw in that mood, I would draw something very mediocre and I would say, yeah, it's good because I done something, at least I draw something. And that's my mindset. Just get things done and be quick about it and don't waste time too much on finessing it and making it much more beautiful and creative. That is not my concern when I'm productive. And so I would say that art doesn't come to you by rushing. Art is slowing down. If you slow down and you seep in the moment and you become so focused that you can pick up the smallest detail around you and you can really focus on it and draw it, and by absorbing information around you, your mind is going to become creative because now your mind is much more absorbent and you have the ability to just make things because your brain is overflowing with information. But I would say creativity is much more reinforced by creating itself, not just consuming. I know that if you consume, you're gonna be able to create something because now you have learned something, you have the information to put it into practice, but learn by practicing itself. I learn by creating because my creativity just awakens and I have this multitasking ability to just create and then figure out what I don't know and then go and search for it and learn that part that I don't know. It's a combination of creating and learning and consuming. That works so much more when I slowly switch between tasks of learning and also creating. So I am creating and learning at the same time. For me, that process is much more effective because now I am testing myself without even consuming anything. I am testing myself and then going for the information that I need. So earlier in this video, I just talked about how I took a stroll in the nature to make myself much more inspired and to kind of refresh my mindset. And that is only because I've been working at a job that was just, I don't know, it was eroding my soul in a way because I'm a creative person and I have to create things, okay? If I stop creating, I go crazy. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it is. And if I don't actually create something every single day, or learn something new every single day, it has to be either one of those things. If I don't actually do those things, I am not going to be able to function as a human being. So you see, it's not an option. It's not even an option to work at that job anymore because in a way, I am kind of destroying myself, and that's just not wise. You can't just do that for a living. And so what I have decided to do was to just pick a job that could be much more informative, creative, something that I must learn a new thing every single day. I must create something or I must work on a specific skill. So in order for me to have a good job, it has to have those factors. It has to have an aspect of novelty. Otherwise, I am out and I can't do that anymore. And that's how easily I quit. And I figured that if I work for such a long time at something that is not creative, I have to take a break. Otherwise, my creativity just doesn't come back. I have to take a break by, for example, taking a stroll in the nature, like I mentioned before, and also drawing for fun and not sharing it with anyone. Taking some alone time and being inside of my own silence, as I am a very introverted person. I really need to have that silence again, that beautiful peace that you have when you're not actually doing a lot of work and you're just creating something for yourself and listening to something that you love and just taking care of yourself. And that's gonna bring your creativity back. It's going to also repair all the damage that might have been done to you by the boring job that you had, or something that was so boring and you worked at it for such a long time. And yeah, I think that's it for today. And if you enjoyed this video, then maybe give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.